Alright folks, DC KO is the saga that basically throws the DC characters into some kind of tournament, where the winner gets the chance to face Darkseid and save the whole universe. Batman was taken out of the game right at the beginning when the Joker hit him with a deadly blow, but did he actually die? And then out of nowhere, a new Batman has been revealed, and it's none other than Nightwing. Yeah, that's right, Dick Grayson is back in the Batman suit, and the reason for this is something you wouldn't even guess. Let's dive in.
The bat signal is on in Gotham City. In a voiceover, Batman reflects that he's getting old, but there's no time to mourn his age, because there's an incident happening in the city. But Batman shows up too late for this one. That's because the Bat family got there first and saved the kids in danger. Bruce sees a bit of himself in each of them, his sons. Nightwing is the leader, Red Hood is the rebel, Tim Drake is the genius, and Damian is the heart. The Bat family heads out for another mission, and Batman questions whether Gotham really needs his help. Next, we see Batman at the DC KO tournament, right at the moment where the Joker attacks him fatally, just like we saw in the first issue of DC KO. Bruce says goodbye to Superman, and the next moment, he gets turned to stone somewhere outside the tournament. His statue isn't the only one there. Other fallen heroes are around too. But then a noise is heard, and slowly, Batman's statue begins to crack. Soon, he finds himself free in Gotham wearing a new suit. The reason Batman survived the Joker's attack is that he used the boom tube to escape the statue. Batman explains that when he picked his weapons for the tournament, he opted for a suit equipped with apocalyptic technology, specifically the ability to create a boom tube. He even programmed the suit to open a boom tube if he stayed still for too long. Classic Batman and his preparation. He had a backup plan in case he was defeated in the tournament. But something feels off. Batman realizes this isn't the same Gotham he left behind. The hero attempts to contact Watchtower, but suddenly his communicator gets hit by a batarang shaped like an R. Obviously, it was shot by Robin, or in this case, the Robins. 4 Robins attack Batman, and one of them says that he's the Bat who fell. This leaves Bruce confused. That red-haired Robin attacks again with batarangs, but Batman dodges without much trouble. However, things take a turn, for the worst. The red-haired Robin calls for backup. That's when we learn there are even more Robins around. In narration, Bruce notes that these Robins are well-trained, but definitely not trained by him. The movement pattern seems familiar. Wanting answers, Batman sticks to the rooftops in pursuit. Eventually, his suspicions are confirmed. Another Batman appears, and it's Dick Grayson. It seems Batman is in some kind of alternate, future version of Gotham, where Dick Grayson has become Batman. Batman, or should I say, Dick Grayson, explains that he warned Bruce not to come back to Gotham. Confused, Bruce just wants to know how much time has passed since the tournament, and if Darkseid was defeated, but Grayson has no clue what he's talking about. That's when he reveals that his Bruce dove into the Lazarus pit to rejuvenate and keep being Batman. Dick tried to help him, but this Bruce refused. He even dragged others into this mess like Ra's al Ghul, Talia, and Selina. This information completely shocks Batman Bruce. The real issue here is that Dick Grayson thinks this Bruce is his Bruce, believing he's gone totally nuts and rambling about Darkseid. Dick then manages to capture Bruce with a rope, and Dick, as Batman, takes his opportunity to show off his major accomplishment since Bruce left Gotham. He built the Bat Tower, a place to train Robin Corps. Dick was inspired by Bruce himself to do this. This Robin Corps got support from the Titans to help kids with training and education. With this, Batman's mission could keep going. For Dick, Bruce has always been a controlling weirdo, but he's the opposite. He shared his mission with others so that his Bruce could enjoy life and retire, allowing others to carry on the legacy. Then he takes off his mask, revealing he's much older than we're used to seeing. Batman responds that none of this represents Dick. This isn't what he wanted for his son. He didn't want Dick and the others to carry their own burdens. He wanted his kids to have a life. Dick, as Batman, claims that's a lie. Deep down, Bruce didn't want to let go of being Batman, because without that, he'd got nothing. Bruce says maybe that's true,
but he only has one question for Dick. Would he let these kids be Batman? Dick is left speechless. Batman insists this isn't right and he should understand why. But Dick refuses to let him leave. "Did you forget who trained you?" says Batman. The two then get ready to fight, and Batman comments on how Dick was born for this. His movements are majestic. The fight is well balanced, but for a moment Bruce manages to overpower Dick and invites him to investigate what's really happening there. Then Dick, as Batman, removes his cape and gets serious about the fight. He even says he's a better Batman than Bruce ever was. That's because he trusts people and doesn't lead through fear. Now it's Batman who's down. Grayson tells the Bat to surrender. He extends his hand and says Gotham doesn't need Batman anymore. Bruce starts to wonder if maybe he should, but just as Batman is about to give in, he hears a noise. It's the sound of the mother box in his suit. This proves he's still receiving a signal from the heart of Apocalypse. Batman has a rough idea of what's happening and tells Dick to keep fighting. The rain begins to pour harder. Bruce asks where the others are, his brothers. That's when Dick reveals that the others aren't here because Batman killed them. Soon, the statues of Jason Todd, Damian Wayne, and Tim Drake are revealed. Guys, DC KO Knightfight has kicked off in a really intriguing way, and it looked like this had it for an emotional side of Batman. This might even be more interesting than if he had just survived the tournament like before. Let's be real, either Batman would have won it all with a solid storyline, or he would have been out pretty quickly given the list of fires. Either way, I think this idea of leaving Batman to deal with other issues while other heroes are out fighting. I'm really curious about the upcoming Knightfight issues. Joshua Williamson has put together a solid script, and Dan Mora is just killing it as usual with his amazing art. No doubt about it, Dan Mora easily makes the list of the best current artists at DC. But with all this dilemma the story has exposed, and the cliffhanger at the end, what are your expectations for the continuation? How do you think this saga will end for Batman? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I really want to know what you think. And don't forget to give your Bat like, hit that Bat subscribe button, and activate the Bat bell so you're always updated on everything happening in the comics, and stay in the loop. Plus, hit that hype button to help this video get more visibility here on the platform so you'll keep getting full stories right here on the channel. Thanks a ton, and see you soon!